In the heart of Ouagadougou, on the morning of July 30th, 2025, the city trembled not with violence, but with righteous anger. Thousands of citizens, men, women, youth, and elders, took to the streets not to riot, but to reclaim dignity. Their chants echoed from the Thomas Sankara Memorial to the gates of the Ivorian Embassy, carrying a message of pain, defiance, and a deep yearning for justice. Ado terrorist! Ado murderer! Justice for Alino Faso! Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps ensure that this important story is seen by more people. When you like the video, YouTube is more likely to recommend it to others who care about justice, dignity, and African unity. At the center of this storm stands the tragic case of Alain Christophe Traoré, known to many as Alino Faso. A proud Burkinabè, a patriot, and a man deeply rooted in the struggle for African dignity, Alino met his end under murky circumstances in Côte d'Ivoire. Official reports from Ivorian authorities declare him deceased, but the people of Burkina Faso are not convinced. His death has become a symbol of betrayal, injustice, and a haunting question. Can an African die on African soil and still be denied the dignity of returning home? The National Coordination of Citizen Watch Associations, CNAVC, a coalition of civil society movements in Burkina Faso, took the lead in organizing a massive march toward the Ivorian Embassy. From early morning, waves of citizens gathered at the Sankara Memorial, a sacred space symbolizing the spirit of resistance and revolutionary pride. Armed with placards, unity, and purpose, they marched not in chaos, but in solemn order, their voices rising above the city's noise, calling out the name of their fallen brother. When they arrived at the embassy, they were met with a strong but tense police presence. Still, the protesters remained peaceful. Their objective was not confrontation. It was clarity, justice, and the retrieval of Alino Faso's body, so his soul could be honored by his people, his family, and his land. Ghislain Dabiré, Secretary General of CNAVC, delivered a powerful declaration before the media and the embassy's representatives. His words were measured but firm, reflecting both the grief of a people and the unwavering commitment to their national dignity. Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso are like bedroom and living room, he said, invoking the historical and cultural closeness of the two nations. But what happened to our brother in Ivory Coast is unacceptable. We wanted truth to triumph because justice, not silence, should have the final word. Ivory Coast, Dabiré reminded the audience, often presents itself as a nation of law and due process. Yet, in the case of Alino Faso, those very principles seem to have failed. They proclaim to be a country of justice, but justice has not been applied to our compatriot. That is deeply disappointing. The central demand of the protesters is simple yet profound. They want Alino Faso's body returned to Burkina Faso. According to reports, Ivorian authorities had stripped Alino of his Ivorian nationality. For the CNAVC and many Burkinabè, this act further complicates an already painful episode. He may no longer be Ivorian in their eyes, Dabiré stated, but his body still carries the identity of a Burkinabè. His spirit belongs to us, and he must return home. This is not just about a body. It's about dignity, ancestral reverence, and the right of a people to honor their dead. It's about resisting the notion that power and borders can erase identity, memory, or justice. We want the body, Dabiré insisted, so we can give him the funeral he deserves, one worthy of his legacy, his people, his community, and his family. Behind him, hundreds stood in solemn silence. They carried no weapons, only the weight of collective pain. Their presence spoke volumes about how deeply this issue has touched the Burkinabè soul. And it is this peaceful strength that Dabiré called upon in his final plea. We count on the humanity that remains within our Ivorian brothers and sisters to let us mourn properly. We believe they understand what African culture means, what it means to honor the dead. The tone shifted from protest to reflection. Dabiré reminded everyone that the youth of Africa are watching. How this case is handled will become part of a larger historical memory, a generational narrative about injustice, unity, and African identity. We don't want to carry this bitterness into the future. We want peace, but not peace at the cost of truth. What makes the Alino Faso affair even more heartbreaking is the historical closeness between Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. These are not distant neighbors. They are intertwined by language, families, migration, and a shared post-colonial struggle. We've always had tensions, but we've always remained together, said Dabiré. But today, the worst has happened, and we must confront it with courage and justice. He criticized Ivorian authorities for failing to uphold the law and respect the humanity of a fellow African. If you cannot apply justice in life, he warned, at least restore dignity in death. The call was not only for justice for Alino, but for the restoration of Burkinabè pride, a pride that demands truth, respect, and accountability. This protest was not simply symbolic. It was part of a growing wave of civic engagement across Africa. As many leaders cling to power, deny accountability, and suppress dissent, the people are rising, not just with outrage, but with organization. CNAVC represents a new generation of African activism, bold, disciplined, rooted in justice, and unafraid to call out injustice wherever it occurs. As the demonstration concluded, the statement was formally handed over to the embassy's representatives under the watchful eyes of security forces. There was no chaos, no conflict, just a simple but powerful message. Take this to your leaders. Tell them the people of Burkina Faso will not be silent. Tell them we want our brother back. The crowd slowly dispersed, but their chants lingered in the air. Justice for Alino Faso. Bring him home. Respect our dignity. They are echoes of a deeper call, a call for African unity based not on political convenience, but on shared values, mutual respect, and the sacredness of life. Dabiré's final words were hopeful, but resolute. We did not come here to cause trouble. We came to express our grief and make a rightful demand. We believe that in the coming days, the situation will ease, not because we back down, but because justice will rise. Alino Faso may no longer walk among the living, but his name now walks in history. His case has awakened a people, reignited a conversation, and reminded Africa that justice is not optional. It is sacred. The soil of Burkina Faso awaits its son. The people have spoken. Now, the world watches. Will Ivory Coast respond not with silence, but with humanity? And so, as we close this report, we offer a diplomatic and peaceful appeal to the leadership of Côte d'Ivoire. Return the body of Alino Faso. Honor the shared dignity between our nations. Let this not be a story of enmity, but one of reconciliation through truth. Let it become an example of how Africa resolves its differences with wisdom, not wrath. To our viewers, if this story moved you, if you believe in justice, in peace, and in honoring the fallen, please like this video, share it, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Let your voice echo the call for unity and dignity across our continent. Africa rises when her people stand together. Let us rise in truth, in peace, and in solidarity. Justice for Alino Faso, and justice for every soul that cries out from the margins unheard.